Welcome to this episode of your favorite interior design podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Stuart, interior designer, over-the-top maximalist, and firm believer that animal print, when done well, should be considered a neutral. This podcast is for anybody that has ever looked around their space and thought, this is shit. You deserve better. And through my eclectic career, including multifamily housing, hospitality, senior living, and high-end residential, I've learned that confidence is key. We'll be here each week with industry experts to share their experiences and motivate you to take action and create a space that feels good and makes you proud. I promise it'll be a little bit cussy, a lot sassy, and we'll have a ton of fun. Welcome to this episode of your favorite interior design podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Stuart, and today we're going to be talking to Brian Bachman from YOLO TVs. Brian and I got on the phone and we just started talking, so I want to give you a quick intro on what this episode is about. They have TVs ranging from 115 inches to 317, and we are going to talk about taking your indoor living experience outdoors and really creating a lot of fun and memories outdoors with these great YOLO TVs. They did a COVID pivot and they took their business from large outdoor screens, doing great big concerts like Lollapalooza and outdoor events, and working through creating these backyard TVs that are massive and fun. So here's Brian with some more information.
This company that we started, YOLO TV, I'm a partner in another company called Big Screens on the Go, and in that company we rent large video walls. So it's like Lollapalooza, Stagecoach, Burning Man, South by Southwest, and every running race and marathon from LA to New York City, and we've had that company for about 15 years. And during that time, I'd had a couple of people ask me, can you put one of those big screens in my yard? And I thought, that's kind of cool. And we did one or two, it was kind of a cool concept, but you know what? We were doing 300 events, a year, and just swamped, and didn't really have the time or the inclination to even look at this other project. And then all of a sudden, God's all knowing, this pandemic came around, and guess what I had?
You had people at their houses wanting entertainment.
Yeah, and I had plenty of time because what happened is every one of our clients, every festival, they all shut down.
Right, of course.
They couldn't have anyone around. So we had the time now, and then we also had our employees who need to put food on the table for their families. So started developing this product. Took us a little while to get it right. We're still perfecting it, that type of thing. But I'd always thought, I'd been in people's backyards. We've all seen beautiful backyards and homes, and we've seen the infinity pools, the beautiful outdoor kitchens, and now you see like sport courts and and all sorts of stuff. We've all seen them, but they would always have like a little bitty TV, up in the corner of the patio, and I just always thought, I was like, that's just crazy.
Right.
So I wanted to develop something that, and I looked at the market, and at the time, and right now there's the largest TV available is like a 75-inch TV. And they weren't fully weatherproof, and you couldn't watch them in daylight, sunlight. So I got with my engineering team and I said, listen, let's develop a product that accomplishes three goals. First, it had to be bigger than anything out there because backyards are big. I tell people all the time when I see a 65-inch TV, in their backyard, I said, my 9-year-old son's got a bigger TV than that in his bedroom. I said, I'm like,
Yep.
you're gonna put it in your backyard. So, it had to be bigger. It had to be brighter so that you could watch it anytime you wanted to. Lounging in the pool, whatever. And then it had to be better engineered for 24/7, 365 use in any kind of weather climate. And so we went out to develop that product. But the big thing that we were noticing, even before, and which I'm sure you've noticed, is that even before COVID, there's been a move, people kind of going from outdoor, inside living to expanding into outside living. We spend, our family, we have 6 kids, and we spend a lot of our time outside. And it's almost, it's free flowing. So I wanted to create something that would bridge the gap between indoor video entertainment and outdoor video entertainment. And there's, like I said, there's always been pools, there's been all these wonderful things, but the video side of it, and sound, but the video side of it was always lagging.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I wanted it to be fun, and so we developed Your Outdoor Living Oasis based off YOLO. You only live once, and in the pandemic, that was something people were investing more in their homes,
Mm-hmm.
spending more time at home. And I thought after the pandemic was kind of, with the social distancing had gone away, that it may impact our business in some way, but it hasn't at all.
Right.
There's been a real market for it, which has been, surprising. And I work on this side of the company more than I work on big screens. I love it. I mean, we do such cool things, and we have the most coolest clients. They have cool homes, and it's just like, I just love what we do.
Yeah.
But that's how we got started. So, and now we're 4 years going now, and every year we've been growing, and our we've got TVs all over the place. From the heat in Arizona and Texas to salt air in Miami to snow in Minneapolis, Chicago, New York, you name it. So it's been really cool. It's been really cool.
Well, thanks, Brian. Thank you to the podcast. I'm really glad that we were able to connect and see that we can have this conversation. I have to tell you a sad story about my own backyard TV experience, which I'm sure
Okay.
that you've never heard one of these sad stories. Is that we have neighborhood parties here, and we have one family, at the other end of a few blocks over, and they host Cinco de Mayo, obviously in May. Cinco de Drinko, actually. I'm going to be real here.
Right.
Also, you can cuss on this podcast if you want to, and you can talk about that. You can talk about having a lot of fun. But anyways,
Okay. Good.
they have the May party, and I'm German, and I love dressing up for anything and all things. And so I love Oktoberfest. And so, there's dirndl dresses involved and lederhosen and beer and, lots of fun.
Right. Right.
So we host the October neighborhood party. Well, unfortunately, this year, our outdoor TV, which isn't an outdoor TV, it's just a regular TV, got infested with moths. So unfortunately, we were not able to play the World Series at our outdoor once a year neighborhood party because our TV was messed up. So people had to be inside and outside. And, in Arizona in October, it's beautiful. And this is where people are. People are outside. And
Right.
when I got your information, we connected right before that happened, but I'm like, oh, this is a perfect story to tell on the call because it was really sad, and we didn't let it get to us. We were going to have a good time regardless, but people did. They were inside, and it would have been great for us to be,
Outside.
having outside. It's a potluck. Everyone comes and brings, whatever the theme food is. Some people dress up, some people don't, and it's around Halloween, so people dress up in Halloween, just whatever their Halloween things are too. But for people really gathering outside, and especially here in Arizona, that was a big bummer for us. So if we had only had a YOLO TV, then maybe we will by next year, and we won't ever have to tell that story again. We'll forget it.
Well, so we're based in Dallas, so
Yeah.
home of the Texas Rangers, the World
Okay.
Series champions, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we've
Well,
got clients.
fine, whatever.
We have
You
clients in
deserve it. Our
Arizona.
TV was messed up and you won.
Yeah, right. We, we have clients in Arizona, and I made sure I wouldn't take their call until after the Rangers won a game. And then when the Rangers lost, nope, I'm not taking your call. Waiting. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, and our clients, we tell them, this isn't just a TV for, sitting out on your patio. This is a TV if you like to throw parties.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things when we started, we had put some of our own screens in our backyard, our temporary screens in our backyard for movie nights and one of our kids' birthday parties and neighbors and stuff like that. And one thing my wife always loved about it was the fact that our house was the cool house. Our house is
Yeah.
where everyone goes. We know where all the girls are. We know where the guys are. Whatever. They're always
Okay,
at our
wait, did you
place.
say you have 6 kids?
Six, yes.
6. Okay, wow. What are the age ranges? Just let's get a visual here.
18, 17, 15, 14. Those are the girls.
Okay, wow.
And then
And you kept going. They
nine,
didn't stop you, huh?
right, right. Nine's the boy. And then we thought we were done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were done. And then we got the surprise in COVID. Evidently, mommy and daddy couldn't social distance. So now we have a 2.5-year-old boy as well. So we go from two and
Awesome.
a half to 18, about to be 19,
Yep.
their age range.
That's awesome. I have another set of clients, and they have 7 kids, and they have anywhere, similar. They're all diapers to 13. So,
Yeah.
every few years there's a new one. So they've got this huge range. It's pretty funny to watch. They're homeschooled also. So they're all like
Oh,
always,
wow.
yeah, I know. They're running around and it's so funny. They're like, oh, wow, you got a baby and a 13-year-old. Okay. I don't even know how to handle that, but
Well, and people always said, well, with the baby, you have built-in babysitters. I was like, no, those girls want to go out on dates. They want to go do their own thing. They don't want to babysit. I was like, wait. I told my wife, I was like, why do we have these four teenage girls, but yet we are hiring a babysitter
yeah.
tonight?
Exactly. I
You know?
totally get it. Well, with that, of course, your house does need to be the place to be, right? Because
Yeah.
also you can't be driving all over town, scattering your kids are all over, scattered regardless if they're driving or not. But, and then you are hosting things even beforehand, but then something pops up. So you're solving a problem for a lot of people here.
Yeah, we've never once sold to a woman. We never have. We've had plenty of women say no. They'll tell their husband, "No, I want my kitchen redone before you get
Wait,
that TV."
we're allowed to say no?
Yeah, right.
What?
Yeah, you guys are pretty good at it, I think. Uh,
I don't know. You haven't met my husband. He doesn't. Just kidding.
he's like, but it's funny because we had never had, we've never sold to a woman. But recently, what has happened, and we've got a couple of, like I said, we got the best customers on the planet. We will do a video recording, hey, how do you like it? We've been able to talk to some of the wives and the moms. And then we'll talk to them, when we install it, and we talk to them a little bit later. And they're using the TV more than the guys.
Yeah.
They're using the TV for, the kids are outside more often. They're using them more than they're actually using them inside.
Right.
And that's been, we still haven't sold to a woman, but I was like, wow, that's really eye-opening because they say the same thing. I like to know that now our house is the house that everyone wants to come to.
Mm-hmm.
I know where my kids are at night and, and who they're hanging out with. And we've always been entertainers. We're the ones that host the Drinko de Mayo parties.
Yeah.
We're the ones that host the holiday parties and the St. Patrick's Day and everything else. So it's really been a way for us to make a lot of memories, with the family, which is really cool. And I'll tell people, I was like, look, what you're investing in, this will be the last TV you'll ever own that you'll need to own. And you're investing not just in the TV, but you're also investing in your family and making memories, and like I said before, is that, and this is the honest God's truth, is that we've all seen these beautiful backyards. I mean, I've been in unbelievable backyards, but I don't remember them. I'll say, okay, which one do you remember?
Yeah.
Everyone says, oh, I don't know. But when you go to a house as a YOLO TV,
Yeah.
when people leave that house and they go tell their friends, they're not talking about the pool with the infinity, edge and all that stuff. They're talking about that big ass TV. They're like, holy crap, we could watch it in the sun. It was the coolest thing ever.
Well, let's talk about that. So some of the features of the TV. So let's get a little bit technical here because I like to get technical, people interior design, oh, you're, fluffing pillows and tassels. And sure, we do that a lot. You can see, my background. I love to have, gaudy wallpaper and, cool shit around. But like when it comes down to it, and then, I mean, so I want to talk about the technical aspects a little bit because I do love the fact that you're talking about watching TV in the daytime because that is a challenge that I've seen when, we're out there with the kids and maybe the game's on. So then dad's separated because he wants to watch the game, or maybe I'm separated. I like to watch baseball more than my husband does, and if there's a good basketball game on, I'm all for it. But you're separating the family, right? The kids are outside playing and then you want to be inside. So let's talk about some of the technical things. But then the other thing I do want to hit back on is the gender roles thing about the females, because it's like, that's the last thing that I think about. And I have clients, and they'll buy these huge ass TVs, and I'm going to say my husband also, and it just drives me crazy because I'm like, what the hell? I was like, first of all, you bought the TV before you hired the designer. So now I've got to build the whole entertainment center around your massive TV, right? And it could have just been 2 inches smaller and it would have all been proportional, but that's fine. That's a whole different counseling session. But with the TVs, with your TVs outside, like the technical aspects of it, I love that you were talking about watching with the kids and doing the movies and stuff, because my husband travels for work a lot and he's gone quite a bit. And I don't know, we have a screen thing that we put up in a projector and I don't know how to work it. So if my 12-year-old son doesn't know how to work it, they're not getting any of those cool things happening when my husband's gone. I'm sure that I could learn it, but I just don't want to. So I want to talk about first watching TV in the daytime, and then tell us about some of the technical aspects about the TVs, especially since people can only hear us, they can't see it.
Sure. So, no one else has been doing this. Now we've had some other companies who have done some secret shopping on us and are trying to develop products like this. Um, so when we first started marketing, people aren't used to this. I said, our smallest TV is 115 inches, which is 3.5 times bigger than the largest TV that's even on the market.
Yeah,
That's our
yeah.
smallest.
Okay, so 115 inches is the smallest one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start
Yeah,
there. Go.
115 inches, and that's 5 foot tall by 8 foot wide to give you,
Okay.
feet. And so we when we were having people that were calling us and interested in it, they were like, "Wait a second, this can stay outside, or I can watch this in sunlight." And I said, "Yes." I go, look at our website. And I'm a big fan of like showing videos. People say, "Oh, send me a picture." I go, "I'm not going to send you a picture. People can edit pictures. I'm going to send you a video. Here
Yeah.
it is in direct sunlight. Take a look at
Nice.
it."
Nice.
Because it needed to be where we're out in the pool with the kids having fun,
Hmm.
and there can be I don't well right now we got a lot of baby shark going on in our household, and cocoa melon, but it could be the Vampire Diaries or whatever the heck the girls are watching, okay,
Hmm.
or what's the other one? Geez, what was that? What's that medical show that we used to watch in the '90s? Not
I don't
ER.
know. We do a lot of Anne with the E or Bridgerton over here. We're
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy. Okay.
Yes. So the two oldest always watch that. But anyway, so it had to be where you could be in the pool playing, splashing, whatever, and watch the game or watch
Hmm.
whatever you want to watch.
Right.
It needed to be not just something that you have to watch at night and it's temporary and it's a pain in the butt to put up and take down and all that other stuff. This is permanent, full install. And then after we started developing that and getting more into it, what happened to us, Stephanie, is that we had clients say, "Well, I've got my pool over here, Brian, but I have a basketball court over here, or I have a fire pit over on this side, or a pickleball court."
Hmm.
So then we started developing. We did a really cool one in Dallas that we built a frame for the TV, and it was on the wall like this, and it was facing the pool, but their patio had a beautiful covered patio and barbecue pit on this side. So what we did is we developed a frame where my 9-year-old can move it, where the TV rotates like this and locks into place, so
Nice.
that he can watch and the family can watch it from over here or in the pool.
Nice.
And then the next thing that we developed was for that client that has the pool over here and the pickleball court over here. Gosh, couldn't we all be so lucky?
Yeah. So sad. Poor guys.
Yeah, we developed a rotating system, so now they can turn the entire TV any direction
Okay.
they want. So as we were developing this, and we keep making improvements, it's got to be bright, it's got to be flexible, where people can use it for different different locations. Instead of having to
Mhm.
pick up your screen and move it over here or move it over
Yeah.
here, that type of thing.
Yep. Well, I love that. And so the smallest one is 5 by 8. And what is the process like when somebody first engages with you? How do they start the process?
So it always starts. Well, they'll either fill out a form on our website or one of our marketing channels, something like this. Or a lot of our clients come from referrals from our current clients, and then we'll talk with them. And the first thing that we do, since we have clients all over, say, "Listen, go out to your backyard and take some pictures, and show me, take a picture from where you're going to be viewing the TV at. Like if you're on
Hmm.
your patio, okay, take a picture way over there where the TV is going to be. Take a few measurements." And then we can help them at that point decide, what size, they want to do, or, what the best type of situation is for them as far as an install. But we'll do that through pictures a lot of times. And,
Hmm.
you know, I've been in this business with the video walls for, I didn't even realize, almost 25 years. And I tell this to every one of my clients, and the honest to God's truth, is that I always tell them, I say, go with the biggest screen that your budget will allow or your permit will allow if you're in an HOA or a public situation with a permit, okay,
Hmm.
or your space will allow.
Right.
Because I have installed 3,000 of these video walls in my career, and I've
Hmm.
never had anyone come back to me and say, "Gosh, Brian, we went too big." But I have had, and I just had it again recently, a month ago, and it breaks my heart. But I've had plenty of people come back to me and say, "You know what, Brian? I should have listened to you. I wish I would have gone a little bit bigger."
Yeah.
So we tell them, I say, listen, I don't know what your budget is, and I tell right up the, I'm very transparent with our pricing. Our pricing starts at 18,900 and goes up from there.
Yeah.
And you're gonna install and everything else. You're gonna put another 5,000 on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what their budget is, but I can look at it and go, well, this is the maximum size that you can fit in that area.
Yeah.
And then this would be about the minimum that I would suggest. And
Yep.
so they'll take pictures that we'll do once they kind of figure it out on one or two sizes. We'll have our designer do it to scale rendering to show them what their TV would look like in that space.
Okay.
And they'll say, do I want this one or this one? And this is a funny story right here. Our number one selling TV is a 246-inch TV. I
Okay.
have no clue why, no idea. But our next size TV is a 158 and a 202. Okay,
Yeah.
and we sell more of the 202s, and 90% of it, the guy wanted the 158.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna go with the 158. He goes, well, what's your next size up? And I go, it's the 202.
Yeah.
And then he's like, then I'll say, okay, well, I'm gonna send you over the contract for the 158. Here you go. He'll call me back and say, Brian, we're kind of thinking about it. I think I want to go with the 202. Listen, I know well, I tell them, go as big as you can, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the reason they're going with the 202 is so they can tell everyone I got a 200-inch TV.
Yeah.
It's that there's a reason for that jump from 158 to 202. The 246, I have no idea why, but that I do know. That's all ego. All ego.
All ego.
Yeah. Something new with us guys.
That's so funny. Well, I love it. I love it. And so they fill out the form, they tell you what they've got and you tell them what they need. And then tell me about installation. What is that process or the lead time actually?
So we're 8 to 10 weeks out.
Okay, that's not bad. That's amazing for a custom product like this.
And 90% of the times, if we have any kind of delays, it's not on us. Like we got one in Scottsdale, Arizona right now that was supposed to, been installed, 3 months ago, but they're waiting on their pool guy. The pool company says, hey, your pool will be done in 6 months. Come on, it's not done for a year, right? So we're waiting on things like that. But we don't do any construction, and people ask, hey, did you guys do construction? I said, no, we manufacture TVs. And so what we'll do is once we work with them to what kind of installation they want to do, most of our clients have a guy. I call it having a guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I got an electrician. Oh, I got a guy for that. Got to move. Got to put a pole in the ground. Oh, I got a guy. So they typically have a guy. But what we'll do is we'll say, okay, if you're going to put it on a pole, we'll send it to our engineer, and our engineer will look up your address, and based on your WIN codes and things like that the city requires, he'll say, okay, you need to put an 8-inch square tube steel that he'll basically build a material list.
Engineer it for him.
Yeah. They put it in, and then we require, okay, show us that the power is hot. We told you how much power you need. Make sure it's hot. Make sure data's there. And then as soon as we get a green light on those things, we send out the TV panels and we send out our technicians. And they'll install it, configure it, train the clients on it, show them how to do basic maintenance. Nice. And we also offer a 5-year warranty. There's no company on the planet that offers that type of warranty on electronics.
Well, and that's beautiful, and especially outdoor products too. I previously worked for a resin company and we did decorative resin panels, and the heat and the cold and all the things mess with all the things. And I even here in Arizona, I even can't even believe how things function in the heat. We don't we stay inside, and I'm like, wow, how did those Native Americans do it? Bless their souls. But it is pretty amazing. So that's brilliant for a 5-year warranty, and an outdoor product and electronics. I love that. So
we started, this was something that was shocking to me. It wasn't my idea, but in June we started doing indoor TVs.
Okay.
We had done a couple for apartment complexes that had entertainment, kind of fun rooms with pool tables and different things, games in there, and they needed TVs that were big and could be seen with lots of light coming in through floor to ceiling windows.
Right.
We had done a couple of those, but I still wasn't thinking it was much of a market for it. But my goodness, we started them in June, and we go from 163 to 217, and our best seller so far is a 217 inch, the biggest one.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. And so what the clients are doing with those, so these things are filling up their entire wall.
Right.
They can have sunlight come in or whatever. And then when they're not using them for watching TV, they're putting art on them.
Okay.
All sorts of visual art and things like that. It's like, I forgot what the trend is, but there's some kind of digital art, some kind of, I don't know, like Bitcoin thing. I have no idea. I don't know what any of that is. It's all over my head. But anyway, that's been something that I've noticed.
It's not as crazy as Bitcoin. It really is just digital art. So
Is
I
that what
think
it?
you've got it.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I
It's
think
not
it's nuts.
abstract. It's not, woo woo or crystals. It's just digital art.
Okay, let's just still kind of over my head with that one. But so they're doing that, and I was like, wow, really? Because you know, I guess in that situation, they just want something bright and big, and that
Right.
our TVs, and this is just a standard. We use LED technology, and so an
Hmm.
LED is this lifetime is measured by brightness, and
Hmm.
what that means is that, and half bright is the end of its lifetime.
Okay.
So for an LED to get to half bright, and what that means is it's half as bright then as it was when you first lit it up, is 100,000 hours. You can
Okay.
Google and see all that. And people say, oh, okay, well, what's 100,000 hours? 100,000 hours is if you turn on that TV in your backyard or in your game room, whatever, you turned it on, you left it on
Hmm.
24/7, 365, you never turned it off. 100,000 hours would be 11 years, 5 months, and 4 days.
Okay.
So of continual use, and our TVs, even if someone did something that crazy, which of course they never would, at the end of that 11 years, our TVs would still be twice as bright as anything else on the market today.
Wow. That's crazy. Well, let's talk about that too. Let's talk about the
Okay.
technology and how you use it. Are there remotes? Do you use your phone? How are we how is my 12-year-old son going to teach me how to use this TV?
So most of our clients use home automation systems.
Okay.
They're Savant and Crustrons and Control 4s, and there's all sorts of new ones coming out.
Yeah.
We're pretty simple. We use Google Home over here.
Okay.
But so the TV connects into your AVR, your video receiver,
Hmm.
audio video receiver, or into your home automation system. And typically, you can use your phone. We have an app as well.
Okay.
You can use your Roku. You can do what we do, and say, "Hey, Google, turn on the YOLO TV," and
Love
power
it.
it up and change the channel to it. So it's not a built-in smart TV. Some people ask that, and I was like, no, but you can once you plug it into your AVR, whatever system you are, your Roku, your YouTube, your Apple TV, whatever, will connect right into the HDMI. So
Well,
uh,
and so then you have to have it all connected. It's not, Wi-Fi, or it's not like blue. Where are the TVs now? Last time I installed TV, they were like, we don't even need wires. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't need wires, but nothing needs wires anymore. It's all space stuff.
so on our TVs, there are two lines that go from your home to our TV. One is a
Okay.
data cable, one is power. That's
Okay.
it. Okay.
Okay.
Now we could put a box out there and make it Wi-Fi. I never do that because it's such a big TV. It's a big signal coming through. You're going to get the circling, the buffering and all that type of stuff. So it's all hardwired. But that Ethernet cable goes back and it plugs right into your router, and then from there, whatever you have connected into your router, then at that point you can control the TV.
Okay.
So it's connected directly to your router.
Beautiful. Well, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, that sounds really, I mean, it just sounds so simple and it sounds so obvious that, I am just, I don't know, I'm just shocked at how it just seems like the right choice every time. And then let's talk about the moths. I mean, are the moths going to get in the TV? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about
So
the
I
moths that
mean,
ruined my party this year.
oh, for Moss, yeah, no. I mean, we haven't had anything like that happen.
Okay. Yeah.
There's not a way for them to get in and ruin anything.
Yeah.
But one thing that we'll try to do is put a bezel or a frame around some of the TVs that are on walls, not for moths necessarily, but for like birds or squirrels or stuff getting in there and making nests.
Right.
There's not really a whole lot they can do, but
Hmm.
you still don't want them squeaking back there, that type of
Right.
thing.
Right.
And that brings up a good point. One of my favorite clients, a guy by the name of Tom Ramsey, he's in Austin, Texas, and he
Hmm.
has this beautiful home, and he put up a TV, and he was concerned at first. He's like, Brian, is this going to last the Texas heat? Is this going to last with we had ice storms and all this other stuff.
Hmm.
And he gave us a wonderful interview. He says, Brian, he goes, we had that big ice storm in Texas. He goes, I lost 20 trees on my property. And I was really worried about the TV. And he lives on this immaculate property, and it's like you got a real long driveway to get out. He was stuck in his home for like 7 days. He couldn't get out
Wow.
at all
Wow. That's
when we had those
crazy.
bad storms a couple years ago. And he
Yeah.
says, you know what? I was scared to turn on the TV because I lost all those trees. I went out and I turned it on. It popped right up, no issues. So and that's kind of awesome because people will ask, does that really, does it really withstand all weather? And I said, oh,
Right.
here, here's what this client had. And this same guy, when you were talking about how do you control it, it's hard for some of we don't have a lot of them, but we've had a couple of clients want to see a TV.
Hmm.
And it's hard for us to schedule someone to go and look at one of our TVs because they're in people's backyards.
Right.
Okay? And so there's a privacy issue. But again, we had a client come down from Cleveland, Ohio, go to Austin, Texas to look at Tom's. He goes, I want to see this 158. And Tom says, yeah, sure, Brian. Send them down there. Just let me know when you're there. I'll let the house people and grounds people know that you're there, etc. So I arrive, and then I call him. I say, hey, I'm here. And he goes, oh, okay. He goes, well, I'm not there. I'm like, now how am I going to show off this TV when you're not here, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, well, just let me know when your client gets there. I said, okay. So client goes, I said, okay. Well, I'm texting at this point. I said, hey, Tom, he's here. He goes,
Yeah.
okay, I'll turn the TV on for you. Turns on the TV. And I said, oh, okay, cool.
Oh,
And
this is
then,
how we're doing it then.
yeah, right. I said, okay, cool. And he goes, you want me to do quad? I go, yeah, do the quad screen. Show
Yeah.
this and
Yeah.
this and this. I said, cool. He goes, I'll do surround sound. He goes, I'll turn up the bright. The guy was in Costa Rica sitting on the beach drinking a damn rum runner. Honest.
Doing a show for you.
Yeah, he's just controlling it all from Costa Rica. He wasn't even in the country.
Yeah. I
So,
love that.
yeah. So that was like really cool. But anyway.
I know I had a client recently and they were like, should we do automation? And I'm like, you're a snowbird. Of course you want automation. You're not going to be here half the year. You want to be able to manage it and do all the things to it. And so,
Yep.
so then there's no way to you don't have to cover it is what you're saying. Or do you?
No.
Because how
We
would
have
you, right? Where you're like jumping up with a big,
no. We've had people ask that too, and I said, you can. I'm not sure if anyone ever actually has covered one of the TVs. They
yeah.
ask the question. They don't need to. We've got another client up in Minneapolis who snowbirds down in Naples, Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and his TV is only about 6 inches to 12 inches off the ground, and it's maybe 6 foot away from his pool.
Okay.
And so I've seen pictures of his that he showed me from a security camera in Minneapolis in January and February, and he's got a 246. It's 10 foot tall,
Yeah.
and where snow is 5 feet up, all the way up above the screen.
Yeah.
He comes back in April or May or whenever it's warm enough for him and turns it right on.
And it's just fine. And so there's no issue with it being by the pool, getting splashed or,
No.
messed around with. And so, this isn't usually top of mind for me, but if somebody's interested, how do you clean it? Are we squeegeeing it? Are we hosing it down? What are we doing with this thing?
So most of the time you just hose it down,
Yeah. Okay.
just with a water hose. We typically do that right after we do an install if it's like an install where they're have other construction going on like
Yeah,
pools
it's so
because
dusty
there's
here in Phoenix. I can't even tell you. I mean, it's ridiculous. I get my car washed and I drive home and it's dusty.
it's
That's why
dusty,
everyone
yeah.
has like white cars but I can't stand it. One day I pulled up to a store and I look left and right and everybody had a white little SUV and I had one too. I went home. I was like, I need a different car. So I got a blue one, but it's so dusty here. So I get that, I just have to hose the thing down or else it's a mess.
Yeah, so hose it down. The other thing is if you need to scrub it down, we say, just get like a soft,
Mhm.
soft bristle brush and, just with a little bit of soap and water, Dawn,
Yeah.
soap, stuff like that, and you're good.
Yeah, everyone loves a good Dawn. We should,
Yeah.
yeah, use it for everything, but it's
Right.
super safe.
Dawn
Well,
and duct tape, you're good.
yeah, exactly. Well, and how do you ship it? How does it arrive at your house?
So it comes in panels.
Okay.
So depending on the size TV you have, it'll be between 10 and 46 panels.
Okay.
And so it gets shipped there in crates.
And
And
so
we
do you receive it or do we receive it or is it a special company? Like I don't have a
so
forklift in my house.
we'll
What are we
ship it
doing?
straight. We ship it straight to your house.
Okay.
We ship it straight to your house.
N-
We use third-party shipping companies.
And so
Uh,
they're dropping pallets in my driveway or how is
yes,
that
yeah, they're
working?
dropping pallets in your
Okay.
driveway.
Yeah.
And then or wherever you want them to drop them,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And so they'll drop them down, and then our guys will come in, unpack them, and start putting them together. Building
Yeah.
them up. And so our smaller TVs, the 115 to the 202, those usually get installed in one day.
Okay.
The 246, 273, and 317, much bigger ones, take a couple of days typically.
Okay. Yeah, and what we do in furniture is, we purchase furniture for our clients, and we're purchasing from all these different vendors and manufacturers, and we have them shipped to a receiving warehouse and where they collect everything. So I think that that would probably be awesome for our clients to know, and your clients to know too, is that if you don't want a pallet, if you don't want to receive a pallet, or if your house manager doesn't want to receive a pallet, however you're going to work that, but you can have it shipped to a receiving warehouse, and then they deliver it maybe on the day that your guys come out, right? So if you wanted
Right.
to ship it, a week or two early, and the client didn't have anywhere to store it, or they weren't interested in even dealing with that, maybe they're out of town, maybe their house people don't live there, but shipping to a receiving warehouse for someone to receive it and then deliver it, they call it the final mile or whatever, the
Right.
white glove it, they bring it over to the house when the installation crew is coming. So we would get our guy to make the stand or the main framework if there's anything special that we need, or is there always something special that we need before your guys come and do the technical part?
So, maybe they're the exact same type of install, but there's always something that happens. So,
I know.
but
They're like, "Oh, I just want a quote." And I'm like, I can't, it's not there. I don't know what to
right.
quote you on. That's different
Yeah,
every
and
time.
we have that a lot, and I'll send you over pictures. People say, okay, well, what's this look like? And we'll show you. Here's the before, the during, and the after. When our
Hmm.
guys show up there may just be a wall, and we have wall mounts, and we put it on the TV, put the TV
Okay.
on the wall. Sometimes if there's a pole, it's got a crossbar and it's got all the framing there. Our guys just come in and put it on. Um, and then, but that's a great point. What you were talking about, the receiving warehouse, it's because typically what we end up doing, and
Hmm.
it drives our shipping manager absolutely, warehouse manager absolutely crazy, is that we typically hold on to everyone's stuff for them.
Yeah.
And so if they're not ready, we'll hold it, and then sometimes they'll say, okay, send it, I'm ready. So
Yeah.
it just depends on the customer. Sometimes the customer wants it there just because they want to feel like it's there, but a lot
Yeah.
of times we're holding it. But that's a great idea, though.
I mean, honestly, it is. And it's new to people because I had somebody tell me the other day, they're like, well, why is the receiver, 10% of the cost of the furniture budget? And I was like, well, let me tell you what they do. They said, I can get the furniture warehouse to deliver anywhere in the state for $150. And I'm like, well, first of all, you're not buying from the furniture warehouse. Okay. Number one. Number
Right.
two, what the receivers do, and this, might be good for you too. And your shipping manager can send me a bottle of wine later for this gift of knowledge, is that they collect everything at different times that it comes in. And also your clients, like you're talking about too, with their, they might be redoing their whole backyard, and they might be getting patio furniture,
Right.
so the patio, and it's a huge inconvenience for your clients, number one, or their house manager, whoever's managing the stuff. People are busy, right? When people are buying your service, they have money, they're traveling, they might have multiple homes, they're in and out. Same thing with interior design, is that they're busy professionals, and they aren't sitting around waiting for these things to be delivered. So the receiver collects everything coming in at different times from different shipments, so that then it is there. And generally they'll hold them for 30 days, like within whatever the estimate was. And so you have it here local in Phoenix, ready to go. Now, when you're and they inspect it, I mean, they might not open your crates and inspect them. You would probably give that specific instruction because it's technical, or it's electronics. But then they store it somewhere in a specific bay for you, and then you call and say, okay, install days in 3 weeks, are you available? And then they come and bring the patio furniture at the same time. Maybe the YOLO TV comes at the same time. The pergola
Huh.
might come, and then the client doesn't have all this stuff sitting on the side of the house, especially with your client, like you were talking about in Scottsdale, where their pool is delayed. So the furniture warehouse will hold it. They'll charge you storage, for additional beyond the 30 days, but then at least it's here. And you let them know what you need. Does it need to be temperature controlled? Obviously not, but some furniture does. and
Sure.
and so the receiving warehouses are really, they're really brilliant, and they inspect things beforehand, and then they would like let me know, because I purchased a furniture for my clients, and they would be like, hey Stephanie, we got a broken table leg, and I'm like, well, can you fix it, or what do we need? And then all that's taken care of before they show up on site.
That's
So
great. Yeah.
you might have some success doing that, but then it's also another, it provides such a nice experience for your client that your installation team and the TV shows up on the same day, and they're not having an extra step.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of nice because what happens with us, our clients are always so excited about their TV. Okay, guys and their toys. Okay,
Yeah.
and so many of our marketing pictures that we get, either we've had to send someone back out to the house, after they're done, or else the client sends us pictures because most of our jobs, that backyard is under construction. I,
Right.
they want, I go, you want this giant TV and the pool's not even in the ground yet, but that's how they are. And
Yeah.
so that makes a lot of sense to be able to say, okay, listen, it's here. So when you're ready, it could be there. Because what will happen is we'll say, okay, you're ready. We ship them the product. They tell us when they're there, and they're like, okay, can you be out here tomorrow? Well, we're
No.
kind of booked right now, scheduling wise,
Yeah.
but they want it ASAP. And then of
Right.
course, a lot of times they don't care, but they're like, well, why are the flights just and the technicians over out here $1,500 for the flights? I said because you wanted it in 5 days.
Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Definitely. Well, I think,
that's
yeah, it would be
interesting.
great success. And if you need a receiver, we work in California, Utah, and Arizona, and
Okay.
have regular connections. So if you want some receivers, but really it's a beautiful partnership, and it really streamlines things, and it does cost money. It's a service that, you're adding in for your clients, but the amount of coordination that it takes to do these big things, like for you guys to install these TVs, and then they're coordinating with the construction schedule. Okay, so I want to say, do you let people install them before construction's over? But I guess you don't. I mean, we heavily frown upon stuff like that because of so much risk. But I guess you get it's their choice.
We've never told anyone no. Now we've
Hmm.
had a couple of times where they've had to go in and like, in our contract, you have to have a nice clear path for our guys to get the TV to the location. There's been
Right.
times where it's just construction. It's
Hmm.
mud, dirt, rocks, and said, no, this isn't going to
Yeah.
work. But typically, like I said, our client gets excited about it, and they should.
Right.
It's the coolest thing. When they get the YOLO TV, their TV is the coolest backyard in the neighborhood. That's just all there is to it. And so they're excited, but so we haven't told them no, but and we haven't had, I don't think, anyone's that have had any kind of construction damage, after the
Right.
fact that I can think of.
Well,
But
and I'm guessing everybody would be super careful
right, yeah,
around the YOLO TV. That you don't want to be the guy that backs the hoe up into the, I don't know, whatever, the heavy equipment into the TV and has to buy the new one. So
right.
that could,
But that's one of the things that we require all of our clients, and we ship them the product. We say do not open the TV boxes at all,
right.
because when we get our diodes in and we start building these TVs, they're all for a certain batch screen.
Mm.
So people say, "Oh, well, can you just get me some more panels or modules and things?" I said, "No, I can't. We gave you a bunch of extras with the TV. So when you get our TV, anything that goes wrong with it, except for maybe moths, that may be a different one. But anything that goes wrong with it,
I
Stephanie,
made you
you
think
can
twice today. I got you on the receiving warehouse kick. I know
and
I
the
see you giving
moths.
eyes over there. Someone's already typing up looking for receivers, adding that to your process. And then the moths, I mean, really, nobody else wants their party ruined.
Right, but so I think raid is what you need, raid. But there's nothing on our TV that you couldn't fix yourself, and,
Okay.
and it'll take you more time to find the replacement part. We tell people, okay, here's your peace of mind replacement kit. Put it somewhere where you remember it. They never do, and it literally takes them longer to find that box than it does to replace a part. But there's nothing at all that can go wrong on that TV that they can't fix themselves. But we tell them don't open it because in there's little bitty packages of parts that look like they look like they're just in the wrapping. So you could throw those out, misplace, and every part is necessary. So we
Yeah.
always tell them, do not open anything, please.
Yeah.
We've had people that have opened things, and we get there, it's like, this is missing, and that sucks. But
That's
it
hard.
happens.
And so you give this peace of mind kit that can, repair some common things that might go wrong. And if somebody did misplace their kit, could you replace it, or things specific to that TV? Is that what you're
So
saying?
what happens is that as we build up the TV, I told you it comes like Lego. So
Hmm.
those little parts, those modules, those are specific to the TV.
And so
Okay.
does that mean you're doing the diode spacing like specific for the viewing distance, or for how far the screen is from the
It,
back
it's
panel?
it's color matching.
Okay.
So there's 361 trillion different colors. Okay.
Hmm.
So there's every little different shade of red,
Right.
and they've all got to be manufactured at the exact same time for color matching.
Okay.
I could get some other ones, but you may look at it, and if you've ever seen like video screens before, at the stadium or even on the side of the road, where the white may look a little pink or a little red in a screen, that's because of the color matching issue.
Okay. And that's interesting. We have a similar concept in interior design. And so, some of the listeners might be familiar with this concept, and it's dye lot. So for us,
Yep.
it would be fabric, or even wall covering. If it's not manufactured in the exact same run, they're all under that dye lot. And so even if you get individual pieces of fabric that you're going to sew together to make a sofa or a curtain panel, you want to make sure they're in the matching dye lot. And we ask our clients, or we recommend that our clients order attic stock. So this is your attic stock, especially in
Yep.
commercial projects. We make sure there's extra roll or two of wall covering in case, someone dings or scrapes it, they can fix it, because you really shouldn't be ordering after the fact replacement parts. Of course you can, and then probably you get the issue like you're talking about there, where you have a little bit of off color or something's not quite right, but
Sure.
it's really not, it's not the thing to do, is order after the fact.
Yeah. So that becomes an issue, and that's exactly what we'll have if someone gets in and loses or misplaces a part. We'll have that because we can repair anything,
Mm-hmm.
but if we don't have the right part to put back in it, then
Yes.
maybe the client and maybe their friends won't notice, but I can look at it and notice it within 5 seconds. It's
Yeah.
just, it's like when you're looking at colors too, or you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I can tell.
Oh
Someone
yeah.
else can too, and it'll drive
Oops.
me absolutely bananas.
Oops.
Yeah,
Someone
right.
someone didn't pay attention to that part. Well, that's
Oh,
amazing. Well, we've had I think we've gone through we've run the gamut here on our conversation. We've gone from nature and moths to technical diode.
don't forget baseball. We talked baseball.
Baseball. Oh yeah, and baseball. Oh yeah, thanks for the reminder. I'll actually have to say I was at Game 5 live in person, so it was, it was sad to see him lose, but it's fun to be at the game. So
Well, that's the first one ever for the Rangers, so it was a pretty big thing here. We took
yeah.
our kids. Our kids played hooky on Friday to go to the parade.
Oh, that's good. Good for you. Well, my husband surprised me with he was like, "Okay, you have to be done with." Oh, I had to move a meeting too, so hopefully my client doesn't hear this. But I was like, "I have a hard stop at 3:45." But it was a surprise, though. It was a lot of fun. Well, good. That's the whole thing about YOLO TVs, right? Is that we're bringing people together for memories and to have a lot of fun. And there's just so many things, not for us to think about, so many things that you've already thought about, that you're solving this problem for people, that just again brings people together and creates memories. And I love, Brian, that you guys did, that you're kind of a COVID success story, or a COVID baby, because you came from doing these large screens at concerts and big venues, and to now also focusing on bringing
Pivoting a
people
little
together.
bit.
But yeah, exactly. But what were you going to say?
I wanted to tell you about COVID and bringing people together.
Hmm.
So we try to tell people, and we market, said this is more than a TV. Okay, you
It,
guys can
it
watch
is.
TV on, but it's more than a TV. And so one of our clients had she turned 50-year old birthday party
Okay.
during COVID. Guess what? Family
No
can't
party.
come.
Yep.
So they created a really cool video and with happy birthday stuff, and all the family, aunts, uncles, cousins, etc., friends that couldn't be there for the party,
Yeah.
all sent in, and they played it up on the screen.
Oh, that's
So you were able to
awesome.
say happy birthday, and her name's Kendall. I mean, she literally had tears coming down her eyes.
Yep.
So it was really cool.
That's beautiful. I love that. Well, we were at what's that big mansion, that big old, castle thing in North Carolina, the Biltmore Estate. We went to
Fillmore.
the Yeah, so we went to the Biltmore Estate and did a tour. And they mentioned, how they used to throw these big parties, and they would have a big party for the house staff. I mean, this is a huge castle thing, right? And I'm not doing it any justice by describing it, but Biltmore Estate, Google it, people. And they would have this huge party for all of their employees that manage the house, whatever, 100 years ago. And then one year they had the party outside, and it's freezing in North Carolina in the winter. And they were like, we don't know why they had it outside. But after the pandemic, they realized that they still wanted to have the party for the employees, but there had been a plague that year. And so the speculation is that they decided to celebrate outside so that they could still gather, even though there was this sickness. They didn't want to be in close quarters, but then they still would have this holiday party for their employees, but they had it outside. And this literally brings it full circle here. 100 years, is that's what we did during COVID, right? We met
Right?
outside because it was safer. And we could gather and be a little bit more separate and feel, connected. And we moved here to our house in Phoenix during COVID, actually 3 days before everything shut down in COVID. So that's a whole nother story for a whole long podcast, probably whole other podcast. But it was us having these outdoor parties with our neighbors has been such a big deal. And they had parties prior, and this, the Cinco de Drinko has been going on for probably 15 years, and we're new. But so everyone was so excited to come to these to these neighborhood parties again, because they had been deprived of that. And, and then when you have a big neighborhood party, it's just great to have it outside, because everyone can come together and separate, and, you have less, you're not confined, and you have so many things to do. So adding a YOLO TV or outdoor TV, again, just adds a thing. Generally at Oktoberfest, we play some Oktoberfest, YouTube channel or something. Sure. And, it's music, but this year it would have been the World Series, if our TV hadn't broken.
Well, it's probably good that you guys didn't see it. Everyone could have been happy, with the outcome.
Stop it. We should interview.
It's the first time in 50-something years.
Ago. Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And I hope that everyone also can join, if they can join on YouTube too, check it out, wherever you listen to. But Brian, tell people where they can find you and where they can learn more about YOLO TVs.
YOLOTVs.com. Go there and fill out a form or give us a call. Phone number's there. If you ask for me, they'll try. I give every one of my clients my cell phone number.
Okay.
And so I tell them, I say, listen, and they're not all in here. I said, sometimes if I don't answer it, just text me and say, hey, Brian, this is John. Give me a call back. I got a question. I'll call you back. But you give us a call there, and you can track me down for sure.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay. Well, everyone, we will put in the show notes a link to YOLOTVs.com, and we'll give out Brian's cell phone number on the podcast next
to everybody. Yes.
Share that contact freely with all your friends, but we'll give give the link to all your socials, and make sure everybody's following. But go ahead and check them out. And we just want to thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thanks.
Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye, Brian. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. If you loved this episode, please take a moment to leave a 5-star review on your podcast app. You'll be entered in our monthly giveaway for a special gift. Share this episode by taking a screenshot and sharing it on your favorite social app. And don't forget to tag us at Stuart Design Co. and let your friends know where they can get interior design support too. Remember, a year from now, you'll wish you had started today.